Hello folks, welcome to my next episode of Kali Linux Network Basic Introduction to Advanced. According to my syllabus here, what I'll be doing is giving you the detailed theoretical aspect of this four chapter, and other chapters I will be include later on, as other chapters includes the command line that we need to configure. So first we'll go through theory. So firstly, client and server installation process. Basically what server really is server is the part of computer that provides services to the client, and client request for the services to the server. So if we take example of Facebook, we think that all the data is stored in the cloud, but not it but really the data is not floating into the cloud, but there is a specific server located of Facebook in different location. The huge server, the huge computer, the huge storage stores client data, and then client request that for data to the server, and server responds back with the data. So basically we use Windows as a client. Example, we use browser inside Windows as a client, and due to its inflexible compressed compressibility for the user, compressed feature for the user, Windows is basically not used as a server, but Windows 203 different Windows OS is available for server as well, but it is paid version. But Linux is not a kernel. We can configure Linux as a different server like DHCP server, firewall server, proxy server, DNS server, and many more. So Linux is not a server, but Linux is not a kernel, but it can be configured into different server. So basically we use Linux as a server. So different server of Yahoo, Facebook, Google use Linux operating system as their server, because it can be configured, it is stable operating system, and many more. So I'll make this video as short as possible. So how to install server and client. So basically you will find different tutorial to install Windows, that is client installation. Windows you can I download different Windows ISO from website, then make it bootable and install in your hardware, or you can download different Linux distribution, Linux distro from website like Kali Linux, Ubuntu, Mint, Fedora. Different Linux distribution is available, so you can use that. You can download, make it bootable. You can make the ISO bootable and install in a hardware. So and you can use you may different Linux distribution has different installation process, so you can YouTube it or Google it for reference. So I'll not cover the detail of server and client installation process, but basically what client and server installation is, how you usually install Windows and Linux. So it's not a great deal. So yeah, in the next session I'll be talking about boot process and startup services. So boot processes and startup service. What boot processes means is how the Linux is booted. So to give quick overview of Linux boot process, the hierarchical aspect of boot process goes like this: BIOS from MBR to grub to kernel to int to run level. So I'll be explaining this in detail and as short as sweet that I can. So BIOS, what basically BIOS means is basic input output system. You may have when the operating system boots, you may have performed like pressing F12 or F2 or escape to redirect to BIOS startup basic input output system startup to change the boot sequence, like to change the boot sequence setting to make while installing the Windows you may have encountered it. So basically uh, uh, what BIOS really means is once the bootloader program is ejected and loaded into the memory, BIOS gives control to MBR. Now what really MBR means? MBR stands for Master Boot Record. Master boot record is located at the first sector of bootable disks. What it really means is that when you insert Windows or Linux disks, then in the first sector of the bootable disk the MBR is located. MBR has specific size. Example, when you make a pen drive bootable and you are trying to boot from that pen drive, then in the first sector of bootable disk the MBR master boot record is located. The size of the MBR is 512 bytes, and the MBR has three components. First component is primary bootloader. That primary bootloader information is of 446 bytes. Then the second is partition table. The partition table contains the different information of hard disks, partition of the hard disk. It is 64 bytes, and MBR validation check, that is magic number, that is 2 bytes to check the MBR validation. So it executes the graph. What? So it executes the graph. It passes the, then after successful loading MBR, it passes to graph. Graph stands for Grand Unified Bootloader. What it really means is to give sweet short example, if you have installed dual booted the Windows and Linux, then you may have encountered the option to choose between Linux and operating system. That is through the mechanism of graph. So if you have multiple images of the kernel installed on your system, then you can choose which images, kernel images, to execute. So graph basically graph displays a splash screens, waits for a few seconds, and if you doesn't choose any operating system, then the default OS get loaded as configured in the graph file. Inside graph file you can configure different. So graph is located as /boot/graph/graph dash config. So card. So graph Now let's talk about sorry. Now let's talk about the kernel. So kernel is the central part of operating system which acts as a mediator between hardware and software. Kernel is written by Linux store valve. Kernel is heart of the Linux. Kernel once loaded in the RAM, it resides there until the computer is turned off. So kernels executes the files inside system binary and in directory. So basically int is the first program to be executed by Linux kernel, and it has the process ID of 1. So and kernel executes int stands for initialization. So it looks at the files located at the file located at /etc slash slash in depth. I forgot to write over here. So it is empty. And another is int executes, then initialization pass. There are different run level programs. Initialize execute run level programs. So what run level programs is? Run level programs are the Debian daemon program which has different run level from 0 to 6. So run level programs, what will mean is when booting up you have when booting up the Linux, you have you may see that starting the send mail, okay, different the command that is running automatically, that is the run level program which run from the inside from daemon rc dot etc slash rc dot d dot daemon. So this is the typical processes. So another is startup services. When system initialize daemon, it looks for two files, that is etc slash services and etc slash services startup services. What startup services? There are two types of startup services: INETT and XINETT. INETT stand for internet service daemon, that is a super server daemon that manages internet services. So the advantage of using INETT is you can reduce the load on the server placed on the system, as network services like telnet, SMTP, FTP, HTTP can be activated on demand, then having running it continuously. So when system initialize the daemon, it looks for two files, that is etc slash services, that etc slash INET dot config. So the points to be remember is different Linux distribution has default INET installed, but however if you want to install, then you can use apt.get apt slash dash get install INET to install it in your Linux if it is not already installed. So it looks for two files, etc slash services and so the typical services look like this. A lot of services. So the services, this is service name, this is service name, this is port, or this is port number, and this is protocol used, that is TCP or UDP protocol, and this is port number which the service is listening, and this is aliases, and this is the comment, this determine comments. Example, let's look at services added for Debian. So another file is it looks for etc slash init. So here the standard the different the different types of the different availables are service name, socket type, proto, flags, user, server path. So this is inetd. This startup services is automatically started when you boot the Linux. So and there is managing users and group. So unlike Windows, in Linux you can add multiple users, you can switch between multiple users without shutting down the windows. So it is one of the power of Linux. In Windows you cannot use two users at once, you have to turn off the windows. However, in uh, recent Windows there is option to switch the account. So to add a managing users and groups, so to add a user, what you can do is so to add a user, what you can do is use user add command. So if you type manual user add, the description of user add command. So user add is a low level utility for adding users, Debian administrator. So usually use add user history. So different options available for user add options are B, C, D. Those are the options available for user add command. So to add the user, what you can do is user add an option. So I will give user ID. So user ID 3333. Then you can specify the username. So username Paul, and as a password username. So password. So the new user has been created. So you can log in to the username Nepal, password Nepal, and use Linux. So the different so to view the user, what you can do is cat slash etc. So the Nepal username has been created with process ID of 33 and child Nepal. So if you want to remove this user, you can use user tail command to delete the user. So you can often add a group. So to add a group you can use prepare commands. Let's prepare command really is prepare commands creates a new group account using the values specified at the command line, the default values of the system. The new group will be entered into the system files as needed. So these are the different options available to prepare command. So if you want to create a group, so you can do group add followed by group name, group file, and you can switch the ID as well. But if you want to create dash f command, if you want to specify group ID, so you just password. So I will So unlike Windows, Linux has different file structure. If you are familiar with Windows, you can find Linux different directories like program files, user, program x86, and different directories. But in Linux, there is a one main directory called root directory. So to give you over description, so computer. So as you can see, this is the root directory where you can find different folders like bin, that is user binary file, the binary file, the slash shell, different binary file is stored in this directory. The boot directory contain graph file and different graph file graph file, and in dev you can define different device files that is needed for different devices, and in etc you can find different configuration file for apt to install the package, the cron tab, different configuration file for network interface can be found in etc. And in home directory you can find my users files, document downloads, music, pictures, etc. And in library is basically system libraries files, and media is store different CD-ROM, USB. The MNT directory is used to mount the media files like pen drive, etc. This is optional, where different programs gets installed like Genymotion, Google, LAMP, Sublime, NetBeans, LibreOffice. User files get stored in. So these are the directories. So I'll be not explaining more directories now. So quota management. So quota management, what really quota management? To give basically what really quota management is, there quota management is the permission set by administration that sets limits to the users or work group or other storage space. So basically, if you are system administration, then if you are system administration, then suppose you have created a username or group name for the workers in your company. So if you want to restrict certain certain services to the group or user, certain disk storage, or do you want to restrict the disk storage, the file disk storage, then you can use the quota management. So by setting quota management, it prevents server from becoming full of data, but still allows user to save the files in it. So application of quota management is the web example you have seen in Facebook. You cannot send the files greater than 20 MB. This is the this is one the application of quota management. And another example is when you send email, the subject cannot be too long, the files limit, there is certain file limits in the email as well. So in web pages, during sending the CB in different web pages, there is a limit set to the file. So there are two types of quota management, that is, first is disk quota and file quota. What disk quota really means is allow system administration to set maximum disk space to user or group, and in block quota or file quota limits numbers of files and directory that can be created by the user or group. The file quota is implemented in different web hosting sites, where you can create limited number of directories in it to host your website. So in next session, this for today, I think this lecture is too long, so in the next session I will be explaining you the job scheduling with cron tab, process controlling and management, administrative server, basic online server upgrade and upgrade process. This also covers some only theoretical aspect. After this we will be learning the command line and to configure different server in our machine. So stay tuned, guys. So if you like my content, then please share it. If you have any feedback, then please drop me. I'll try to make my language good as possible, and I will upgrade the lessons I have created. So stay tuned guys to this for now. Thank you.